please welcome the Speakmans.
Oh, it's so nice.
Now,
to
I was obviously there that day on This Morning,
Yes.
and that woman, I mean, her fear of Simon Cowell was genuinely real, wasn't it? And her,
Sure
we had
was.
the heart monitor on her.
Yeah.
She even, just a picture that was over there, her heart rate went up, and it is fascinating. You know, I don't know what you do. You go off into a back room, came back, there she was smiling and laughing. So what can you tell us? Because I know you don't give everything away of what
do
you do,
what?
but...
We don't mind. We don't mind. I mean, ultimately, what we do, when it's for someone to be frightened of something, they've had an experience. And that experience creates what's medically known as a schema, but in fact, it's a learning process or a reference. So then when that person learns to be frightened of something, when they see it again, they feel anxious as a protection mechanism to keep away from it. So when people are frightened of something...
So it could be something that's happened to you a long time ago, and that every time
that's
you think
right.
of
Yeah,
that...
you're not born with a phobia. No one's born with a phobia. Nobody's born happy or sad. You know, we're a product of our environment, and therefore, you know, if you've got a fear, or if you've got, you know, any sort of, you know, low self-esteem or anger issues, you know, whatever that might be, it's because of a learning that you've had in life. And our therapy and the way we work is based on providing alternative evidence to change that belief or that schema.
So do you believe that you can overcome anything
Absolutely
in
anything.
life, then?
Absolutely anything.
I wish I'd met you before. I was married to a man who used to be a professional footballer in America, and he was a great, big, hulking guy. And I didn't know about this extraordinary fear until after we'd got married, and I served him a plate of salad with a tomato on the plate.
He freaked.
He freaked. A whole tomato, and he burst into tears.
It doesn't make sense, does it?
No,
It doesn't make any sense, but that's quite common, isn't
Yes.
it?
Absolutely,
very much
it is.
so.
Yeah, and as Keith Lemon so sort of portrayed.
Yeah, he got you off to a tea, didn't he?
know?
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah, I look like something off
Middle Earth.
off Middle Earth, yeah.
Hilarious,
Yeah.
wasn't it? But yeah, you know, it is true that people have the most unbelievable fears, or they seem unbelievable to us, but that's because we didn't have the tomato experience or whatever that might
You could
be.
only look at a tomato if it came out of a tin and was mushed up. But if it looked like a tomato, it was like a bomb.
God, I'd love to know how we got that.
What happened to
Yeah.
you
in a tomato? I know.
How would you deal with something like that?
We'd actually just ask him the question, you know, what is it you perceive? Why do you perceive a tomato dangerous? Because
You see,
ultimately that's what he's saying.
We know the baseline is we know that he wasn't born with that fear. So something has happened to create that. I mean, we worked with someone recently who had a fear of taking tablets, and that stemmed back to being frightened of peas.
Really?
And the peas obviously being round like tablets, and therefore it manifested itself in not being able to take tablets.
Well, I can only assume my ex-husband's mother shoved a tomato.
Well,
Is it kind of regression that you do with people then? Because you have to take them back to that point that you believe. So by talking to them, you'll find that point that sets that phobia.
It's a great question, actually, Ruth, because a lot of people do actually know the answer themselves. So it's not about regression. It's about literally unfolding and seeing where did it stem from. Now, sometimes we don't actually even need to know where it came from. Sometimes, like with the tomato, you can actually apply evidence as to, you know, what has a tomato ever done to you? You know, why blame the tomato? You know, it's an innocent victim.
There was that film. Do you remember The Attack of the Killer Tomatoes? maybe he saw that as a child and it scared him.
But do you think people in general seem much more fearful and anxious than 20 years ago?
I think very much so, and I think that's because of social media, and there's so many comparisons that we make to other people as well that make us fearful.
But ultimately, anybody can be happy.
Yeah, I believe that. I truly do. You guys are going out on tour soon, aren't you?
Yes.
We are.
Excited?
We are, yeah.
Really
very
excited.
much so.
Yeah, because obviously it's great, you know, the transformations that we see with people in clinic and when we've been working on This Morning have been magnificent. But to do it on a large scale is so exciting. And although it is a tour and it's called How to Be Happy, and we will be teaching lots of tools because, you know, let's face it, you know, you don't come into life with a handbook or a guide, and you know, nobody's taught happiness. But the great thing about the tour is that it's not just us stood there, it's us saying, look, if there's anything you want to ask us, then ask us, let's start giving you some answers.
And what is, I mean, in your opinion, what is the key to being happy? Is it about positive thinking? And should we all be doing more of that?
Do you know, it's really, really simple, Ruth. It comes down to you become what you think about. That is ultimately it. If you think you're going to have a bad day, if you think you're not going to like somebody, if you think badly of yourself, then that's what it comes down to. But other things are our environment. So just a very quick, great little tip that anybody can do is what we call the mobile phone test. Now, you'll have all had this experience where your mobile phone rings and you go, can't speak to them right now.
Oh,
And you can
You know those
feel,
people.
Loads
You
of
know
time.
those people,
and you
yes.
can feel sort of your energy and all your positivity. Now, it kind of just draining out of you. Now, if you seeing somebody's name on a phone can have that effect on you, then in the mobile phone test, what you do is you go through it, see who has that impact on you, and if you can't delete them out of your phone and life, then what you've got to do is change your perception. And funnily enough, somebody was telling me earlier today that their mother-in-law, a picture of grot bags now comes up when her phone rings.
Do you get rid of a cough? I'm so sorry to cough all the way through that.
But you did say before, can you change anything? And yes, you can. And
Can you change this one? Ah, yes.
Well,